Alright guys, welcome back. In motion with the crew today. Got R1 sitting back there behind me. Got a little John and Milkman. We're just going to see what the day brings. So y'all just hang loose.
T-bone roars like a thunderstorm blast. Engine growling as the trees rush past. Wheels on fire carve the mountain's face. The legend rides with a reckless grace. T-bone shadow cuts the sky through the peaks where...
But T-Bone, you said that you were not going to be making any content. I never actually said I wasn't going to be making any content. I just said I wasn't going to be making any of my regular content for a little while. Loophole. But yeah, we're out here riding down Boardtown, getting ready to go hit Fort Mountain. Those of y'all who've been around a while, y'all know Fort Mountain. Y'all know the story of Fort Mountain. But getting to take a beautiful ride before we even get there. Beautiful ride, beautiful riding. But yeah, I don't know how long this video is going to be. I know I woke up this morning and apparently Iran has found out that Donald Trump is the F around to find out president. So, you know, which shouldn't have been breaking news. It's not like he sprung anything that they wouldn't have known. But like that old saying goes, some fools love to perform. So they effed around and found out who Trump is. I know everybody's all in a panic, and you know, it is what it is. You know, I know people worry about stuff like this, but man, the world's been having wars long before we were born, and unless God comes back and ends it in our lifetime, they'll be having them long after we're gone. So unless it walks up on my front porch, I ain't worried about it. But I'll bring y'all back when we get a little closer to where we're headed to. Alright guys, we made it to one of the areas from the 90s that y'all probably have never seen on the channel. A place called Flat Branch, off of Boardtown Road, going toward LJ. I know hillbillies should know where I'm at. Old Moonshine Route, we used to, years ago when we used to trip shine out of LJ down here, we would trip it out Flat Branch to New Hope. And if we could get to New Hope and there wasn't nothing there, we would come across Flat Branch, it's that road right here. And we'd hit Boardtown, and we'd run Boardtown to Cassius Valley, and then Cassius Valley back into Hell's Hollow, and then we'd be home. I've white knuckled this on motorcycles and cars a couple of times, especially cars, when you got a load. Back in the olden days, got R1 sitting back there. I don't know if she realizes what I'm doing yet. Probably Little John and Milkman won't know where I'm taking them. Nah, well, they don't have to worry. We're not out here where human chili is made. I guess you could get lost back here if you didn't know exactly where you were going. And fortunately, I don't know exactly where it is I'm going. I know I got a left-hand turn up here somewhere I'm gonna make. Oh God, I play sometimes a little too much. Now we're coming to the crossroads up here, getting ready to take our left. I know where I'm going. It's a pretty little area back in here. It's quiet, man. This area back in here for at least 35 years I know of hasn't been touched. old land, old families. Canopied road, just a good quiet place. That's why I'm trying not to rack on the pipes too much. Don't want people to start complaining, because I don't know that a whole lot of motorcyclists use this road, and I don't use it all the time. I might come down it once or twice a year, but I always try to ease down through here. I try not to make much noise. But yeah, man, one car. That was a bunch of hay in the road. That's how you know you're in the backwoods. At 10:57 a.m., you're riding down a Canopy Road and it almost looks like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But we will continue on, guys. All right, guys, we have started to climb up Fort Mountain here. Beautiful day, beautiful day. And I'm glad it's the rain. This is like our second day so far, and knock on wood, it's still early in the day, but we haven't had rain. Probably head into a drought after this, I'd imagine. But we've had a wet spring. The water table should be pretty good, I'd imagine. These rides like this reset your soul. Of course, to those of y'all who've been with the channel for a while, y'all know the Fort Mountain story about the hawk. When I took a hawk to the face and broke my nose. Good times, good times. But you climb here, 52 West is where we're at. Climb Fort Mountain. Of course, Fort Mountain is a state park. Beautiful views up here off of Fort Mountain. I think I've showed the views several times on the channel. Great riding up in here. Other than taking that hawk to the face. This is probably one of my more favorite, just good local ride. Couple 2 or 3 hour ride. Put down probably a little over 150 miles by the time it's all said and done. If you're measuring it like that by miles. Curvy roads in the mountains is some of my favorite riding. I think that's pretty well much apparent. If you've been with me for a while, y'all know that. Little DJI just sitting up there taking it all in. Little Ford Flex has got all it can calling that little Coleman camper. Dang. Pulling its life out. But I was talking there a minute ago about the whole moonshine thing. Now that's all hearsay. Supposedly that happened. So if anybody asks, it was just a cool story to tell. Motorcycles. Getting ready to cross out of Gilmer County into Murray County, Chatsworth, Georgia. Right here. Woody Glen Highway. crotch-rocking. They crotch-rocking boys and them import cars, man, they have fun over here on Fort Mountain. And I've seen cops up here on Fort Mountain before, but for the most part, as long as you're not up here, you know, running people off the road, just causing havoc, most of the times they're going to leave you alone. But they will get you if you get up here and start acting crazy. As they should. Keep it safe. Keep it safe. Trees down. They've had some bad weather come through here. Oh, and, yeah, I can tell the temperature drop right there. We definitely getting up high now. When you can feel it's changing the temperature, you know you're climbing. And the crazy thing about being on Fort Mountain, you know, most of the time where there's a big national park, not usually a whole lot of residential places, but man, there's a bunch of residential houses up here on Fort Mountain. In fact, my cousin Mule Eddie, he used to live up here, down here on the backside of Fort Mountain. I think they moved back to Chatsworth though. Yeah, man, the Biker Boys, they after it. Pull over down here. Little John, I don't know if brother Little John there behind us, him and his wife, I don't know if they've actually ever been on Fort Mountain riding before. So this might be all new stuff for them. John's kind of new to our group as far as the riding group goes. He's been riding with us steadily since last summer. He's got to take a few rides with us. About like everybody else, it's hard to keep your schedule up. You gotta work, you gotta pay them bills. So what do y'all think about the vlogging so far, doing it this way? Just kind of a little more relaxed, just let whatever happens happen. Run the camera, if you got something to say it. If not, just let it run, let it be. I know the last video I put together like this, I think it ended up being about 27 minutes or so. Pretty good little video. The mojo's flowing again, but I just ain't got a whole lot of desire to go back to the old format of doing things. Of course, I'm going to be still bringing cryptid content. In fact, I've got one that I need to get filmed at some point in time. But I figure, you know, we're getting to ride our motorcycles. We're having a good day. And there's something up here on the side of the road. Could be a bear, could be a deer, could be wild hog, could be a coyote, fox. Apparently that truck that was in front of us scared it off. Yeah. Good deal. Up here in this national park, everything's protected, so there ain't really no telling what you can see up here. And actually, the one thing that I haven't ever seen up here is a bear. They're up here, but apparently they know where this road is, and they, you know, they ain't going to chase no picnic baskets over here onto this road. Which is cool. Oh man, bike running good. Full Mountain Dew in the rack. Temperature dropped about 15 degrees. Not too bad, not too bad at all. If you're new here and you go back in my watch list, go down in my last videos, you'll see a 3-part video series I made, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 years ago, called the Fort Mountain Ride, where I covered Fort Mountain, I covered 411, and I covered the River Road. Pretty fun little video to shoot. I had a good day that day. And then one of the other things I got going on is AC/DC up in there. Bear. Bear. Yep, bear walking up to, well, I've seen a bear. I just said, oh, black bear walking in the power line up there. All right, well, cool. I've seen a bear on Fort Mountain. The camera would have never caught that, guys. Yeah, I know, they're tripping out behind me. Sweet, sweet. Got to see me a bear. Well, I just had said I had never seen a bear on Fort Mountain. Sweet. Check the power lines more often. Oh, I bet you're hot. Yeah. Got that full face helmet on, and then they put those furry heads on them. I know there ain't no air getting in there. Sweet. Got to see a bear on Fort Mountain, guys. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. But he wasn't interested in us as much as I was interested in him, seeing him. That's pretty cool. You know, you go into places like this, you know, did you see the bear in the power line up there?
No, I didn't. I saw the damn tree uprooted.
Yeah, the bear I was pointing, there was a black bear walking up there in the power line.
That's not the first time.
Here's the view up here on Fort Mountain, guys. Pretty clear today. A little bit of haze off in the background. Not too bad.
Part 2 of the T-Bone and Milkman saga. We picked up Little John.
Got up here. Sasquatch riding a motorcycle. And then new to the channel will be Little John. And then what's your wife's name, Little John?
Shannon.
Shannon. Y'all find us on YouTube. Toot. Dude, don't you dare tempt that Mustang. That Mustang will come after you. It'll eat your entire Corvette. Getting ready to get off of Fort Mountain here, guys. Beautiful view there, beautiful view. I've literally went 42 point, getting ready to be 43 miles. That's what I said about where we live here in North Georgia. Cool roads, beautiful views, all within about 50 miles of home. About a 100-mile round trip if you just went here. But man, I can literally don't ever have a bad ride. Any direction you go, there's always, you know, something beautiful to see and good roads to ride, because I know a lot of people, they have to go searching for roads. And a lot of them find themselves right here where we're at. Got beautiful roads here. I know a while back in one of the videos I'd shot, Georgia Hillbilly was talking about riding some local areas again, starting to ride some. He puts down big miles though. He takes them long rides, Hillbilly does. Cross-country rides. My back won't let me do that stuff no more. I'm good up to about 250 miles, and then my back starts trying to tap out. But you just have to know what your limitations are. I could, you know, with plenty of time and not being pressed under any schedule, I could ride any amount of miles that I needed to, I suppose. But if you're on a schedule, you got 2 days to get somewhere and then 2 days to get back, and you're trying to crush out 8,000 to 9,000 miles. That gets hard. That gets a long day. And I know there's people who do it every day on YouTube. We watch them do it. But I'm just, I love riding, and I'm not going to make myself miserable just to ride my motorcycle. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to, physically handicap myself any worse than I already am. Just to say I did something. I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. Nothing to prove to nobody. If I want to go riding in an area, I'll just hook a trailer to the truck and pull the bike to the area and ride it and then pull back home. But that's what happens when you reach middle age and you've got physical disabilities and things are, you stand up and all your engine lights start flashing on. Water's still running off of the mountain. Yeah, we've had a lot of rain, dude. It's a lot of washout areas. But I guess we're riding to food now, trying to find something to eat. I asked everybody what they wanted to eat. They said, we don't know. So I guess I'm going to pick what we're going to eat. I don't know. Get into Chatsworth, see what they got to offer. Might go to Bojangles, get some chicken. All good Christians eat chicken on Sunday, don't they? Oh, man. And the thing about it is, you live in this area, and people who've lived in an area for a long time, they'll say, yeah, ain't no big deal. We've rode it a million times. This is just me. I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, I never get tired of riding these roads. I don't know. I love our local roads. I grew up on them. They're familiar, and you get to have a good ride. You get beautiful views. You get to see stuff like a bear on the side of the road. And seeing that bear, that was probably the highlight of this trip for me so far. That was cool. I had never got to see a bear up here on Fort Mountain. So that was cool. See them in my backyard all the time, but I never got to see one on Fort Mountain. We got a bear that tracks behind my house. She did have a couple of cubs with her a few years back, but she would track the waterway. Fighting Creek runs behind my house, and she would track the creek. She covered about a 10-mile area. Everybody was seeing her. I talked to the neighbors, and they'd be like, yeah, she came through our yard last night. Yeah, we just never mess with her. She ain't bothering us, we ain't gonna bother her. Let the wildlife be, just unless you have to. But I do got a wild chicken showed up at my house about 3 days ago. I was outside. I was sitting in the HHR. I had the AC running. Let the car run a little bit, and I was thumbing through YouTube on the cell phone, and I heard the chicken. I thought, am I on a chicken video? I looked up. It was a rooster just standing there in my yard. So I texted the neighbor and I said, "Did you get chickens?" He, no, I didn't get chickens. Just one random rooster. He's playing a deadly game of Russian roulette with our dog and my daughter's cats. Them cats act like they don't play it no mind, but as soon as that rooster drops his guard, one of them cats will grab it. My daughter said it chased her the other day. Nico was like, that rooster laughed at me and then it chased me. I don't know. I ain't gonna get chased by it. First time it chases me will be this lifetime. There'll be feathers flying all over the hillside. I bust a cap in it. Make me bust a cap. Yeah. Already walking up in the yard looking like an 8-piece. Times are tight. Might end up in the pot. Chicken and dumplings. I'm having fun doing this, guys. Just the way I'm shooting. Nothing set up, nothing to talk about. Just let the road and the bike do its thing and let the camera catch its thing and just have fun. What I was missing. Got to taking the cryptid stuff and everything else just a little bit too serious. And when you get to doing that, I mean, you know, once it gets to be a little bit too serious, then you start losing, not having fun with it. And that's where I was at with everything. I just wasn't having no fun no more. So we'll keep this up till I decide that not having no fun doing this, and we'll try something else. But the new, I made a new entrance using some of the music that should be on this video, if I remember to put it in the video. I did the GAM video here a few weeks ago, and I didn't even put my opening in it. All right, guys. Well, we made it off the Fort Mountain. Now we're full of chicken and regret. I think I'm getting ready to bring this video to an end, guys. We're down on Old Federal, making our way back over to the River Road. Been a good day, been a good ride. Can't complain at all. But I tell you what, guys, I think right, like I say, right here is where we're going to drop this video. If you're new here, my name's T-Bone. Welcome in. I invite you to go check out some of my older videos. If you like what you see, maybe consider giving us a subscribe. But until the next time, guys, y'all take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and hey, thanks for watching.